All right, so let's get some AI news, right? A lot of news. I'll let you lead this. You're pretty excited about this topic, huh?
Yes. This cracks me up.
Got fired up before this.
So I want to say, you have quoted Anthropic.
Yes.
Anthropic, a big AI, large language model. Is that right? Okay.
Great platform, yeah.
The CEO, Frank, is the entry-level white-collar job wiped out. And in 5 years, unemployment rate could go to 10 to 20%. What say you, yes or no? Higher or lower?
There's a big difference between 10 and 20%, I could tell you. Here's the deal. You're going to lose jobs, but you're going to gain jobs as well as people that understand AI and use it for productivity gains. That's important. So you're assuming that these jobs are going to fall off, but there's not going to be more job opportunities for people who learn how to use AI properly. We're not going to 20%. Maybe we go to 10%, but you're going to see a lot of jobs get, especially in industrial automation. I mean, what do we have? We had Amazon come out, right, and say they're testing humanoid robots to deliver packages.
They're investing in robots for their warehouses and such. But they made a point. I was looking at Reuters, Frank, and they made a point to say, hey, these robots are going to do multiple tasks, like getting parts and services or unloading trucks and different things. And they made a point to just say, not like the current robots, which do singular tasks, only one thing or whatever. So basically, we're going to the Terminator and everybody's going to be, sitting at home, not having anything to do, mailbox money, life will be good.
I'll say this. I said two things. One is a side play on this is Rivian, because Amazon has 20,000 Rivian vans, and they said that if they do this, they're going to be, these robots are going to be traveling in Rivian vans. And the reason why that's huge is I don't think people understand how big Amazon's network of delivery drivers is. And this includes independent contractors as well that drive them. Take a guess of how many people in terms of Amazon and deliveries. And this includes our independent contractors. How many, if you would guess? You want to try to place a guess? I know it's tough. I guess how many?
Delivery guys?
Delivery guys, yeah. And again, it's including independent contracts. This number blew me away.
8,000.
350,000.
No, that's stupid.
350,000. I would have said like 60, 70,000.
Yeah, I know.
But this includes independent contractors as well, right? So, I mean, you really don't know how many drivers there are. The drivers, oh my God. I mean, I feel like there's one driver just for my freaking house, to be honest with you. I mean, every time I go, it's like, Amazon boxes everywhere. Everything's Amazon. But if you look at 350,000 drivers and you're replacing them, it's going to start at 30,000, then 60,000, 80,000. Again, it's not the independent contractors going to replace them, but now what does this do for Amazon, right? You don't have to worry about healthcare. You're delivering 24/7. Some of these drivers have, schedules where they can't drive over certain hours, just like pilots can't fly over certain hours, right? So you remove all that. It provides the efficiencies, the amount of money that you're going to save from this, and the productivity gains are incredible. They're massive. So, you're looking at this whole thing where, Anthropic, and then you also have the news on Meta, right?
To your point, AI is going to improve margins, all that kind of stuff. Speaking of margins, Meta already has amazing margins. By 2026, Frank, AI generated ads completely. I'm talking about creating, targeting, and delivering. That means who's at risk there?
The biggest risks are the ad agencies that got nailed on this. I mean, there was Omnicom, WPP Group, Interpublic. They fell sharply. They got hit on that news. And so those guys better get their act together in terms of AI. But if Meta really doesn't need these guys anymore, holy cow, they're going to need them to some capacity.
Right.
But
that'll be the interesting thing on me. Is it a replacer or is it an enhancer? Because I have no doubt that, you can develop a robot and do all kinds of tasks, but would they just help them, or is it literally just going to replace everybody?
I think it's
that's
both. And I think we have to, we always look at the world of black and white. It's going to replace everybody. It doesn't have to replace everyone. Just like there was going to be no big box retail stores. There's going to be none anymore because Amazon. All right, there are people like going shopping, right? So and they like returning stuff to the store and stuff like that. So the thing is, when you look at these companies, if you're replacing 10, 15% of their business, it's massive. It's massive for these stocks where they lose tons of market cap, right? So if you're replacing that much of their business and you're providing ads where it's going to be cheaper to go to Meta than going to these advertising platforms. And you have AI making a lot of this stuff where, holy cow, if you've seen the advance in AI with videos and stuff, you can just type in prompts and the videos that are displayed are unbelievable. You got to see Gemini 2.5. Holy shit. Just go to Twitter and just put in, Gemini 2.5. What is it called? Vero? Holy cow. It's unbelievable, like the video generation now. It's how you can create movies and short movies. It's been there and people have seen it, but you have to see how advanced it is now. We're talking every month it gets better and better from these systems. That's why they're spending so much on AI and data centers. to increase that power. I would worry about that if I was the ad agencies. Again, we're not going to replace all jobs, but we could replace some of them. You're not looking for Amazon to replace all those employees, but maybe 20% of them. What is amazing to me, I don't know if you realize this, when I'm used to forecasts, we see so many bullshit forecasts. Oh, in 2030, in 2050, zero carbon emission. Right? We always see these forecasts at a 10, 15, 20 year out. And even when we saw smartwatches, I was like, it was a joke. Like they just had this massive projection over the first 5 years, and it took so much longer adoption than that, And then you look at EVs. I mean, the EV adoption, the robotaxi adoption, right? They always have like 10 years. If you're looking at a lot of AI news and even the stable coins with Circle, when they're predicting, the U.S. Treasury said that we expect this to be a $2 trillion market. Do you know by when? 2028. It's around the corner. You look at Meta saying, hey, we plan to create targeted advertising using artificial intelligence by the end of 2026.
Yeah.
We're not looking at 2030, right? We're not looking at 2035. We're not looking at past 5 years from now. We're looking over the next couple of years. That's how fast AI has changed the landscape. And you're seeing it with these companies and, the stuff that comes out. And the fact you have to look at industries as someone that studied this for a long time. When you have competition and a limited amount of money to get better on something that's going to be a technology that's going to change the landscape of the world, you see how fast and how rapidly it's going to happen because you have the money there, right? It's always the capital. How do we get the capital? How do we, you want hydropower, you want alternative energy. You need tens of billions, if not trillions of investments to make it happen. You have to have massive losses, right? In this, you have companies that have almost like pocket that doesn't have a bottom to just keep throwing out billions like nothing. We're talking about companies generating $200-300 billion in sales. On a balance sheet, they have 50 billion plus. Their CapEx spending is hundreds of billions going into this industry. And you have all these guys competing with all the large language models. And now we're going into, agentic AI, which is, just using bots and stuff and, replacing employees and stuff like that. And then you got, just looking at, how it's going to be the predictability part of it. I mean, that's all coming. And it's amazing to see how all the stars align where you need the money, right? You need the capital. You have the capital. That's the most important part. So you don't just have a great idea. Yeah, it would be nice if you have, these cars driving around without drivers and, delivering packages. That's great. But there's a massive amount of money and there's a whole infrastructure. It's a whole level to see how is that going to happen when you're seeing these guys fight for their models and make them better so quickly. Every month that comes out, someone follows this is fantastic just to see the advances because of the money being put into it. That's why you're not going to see spending. So that's why NVIDIA is going to continue to see massive business because they have the best of the best chips with almost no competition for the best chips. It's 2-3 generations behind them, right? It's going to continue. I mean, I've never seen a company that big don't even talk about their competitors because they don't feel like there's any competition. They're like, well, AMD, no, there's no competitors. And they're competing with chips they made freaking 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So it is amazing just to see how rapid this is and be a part of it, man, because there's a lot of money to be made in stocks. We've done very well in the AI trend and stuff and just, picking apart some of these stocks and stuff. And it's not going away. The spending's not slowing and it's not going to slow anytime soon. So it is amazing. We just want to bring up some of the AI news flow, which is pretty incredible. So
last thing, why does it always have to be Terminator, Frank? Why can't it be like Transformers and be friendly with us?
Transformers.
I quizzed Frank on that. He knew. What's his name?
Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime, yeah. I'm a fan. Optimus Prime, yeah. So, and we just say Bumblebee and stuff like that. So,
yeah, I knew Bumblebee.
Yeah, you're very impressed with that.